Welcome to the Ohio Housing Finance Agency's how-to video on composition updates in DevCo Online. Hopefully, as I'm going through the information, a lot of your questions will be answered. If your questions are not answered during this session, you can always submit questions to the DevCo Help Desk for assistance. We recommend that you use Microsoft Internet Explorer while using DevCo. The other web browsers can generate some errors in DevCo Online. To access DevCo, go to Ohio Housing Finance Agency's homepage, which is www.ohiohome.org. On the right-hand side, about halfway down the page, you'll have the DevCo link. This takes you to the homepage for DevCo, which shares information on any updates or issues that are happening in DevCo and includes all of the DevCo help information, the compliance user guide, the DevCo how-to videos, and the DevCo help desk. You can submit what type of issue you're having in DevCo on the help desk and then provide additional information on the specifics of the problem. The Compliance User Guide is a great resource. Today, the section that we're covering with the compliance update is covered in the Tenant Income Certification section. Before we go into DevCo Online, we'll first talk a little bit about the composition update. Composition update events are needed if there have been any changes to the number of tenants in the household. Examples include a household member leaving, a new tenant joining the household, or a death of a tenant in the unit other than the head of household. If a tenant is expecting, a composition update is also needed. The proper way to initially enter an unborn child is to make sure that all of the fields are populated except for the current income and special needs. When the child is born, the name of the child, the social security number, gender, birthday, or any special needs should be entered. I will show how to enter an unborn child later in the video when completing a composition update. So we're going to go into DevCo now, clicking on the blue button at the top of the page. And here's where you're going to log into DevCo. If you have not registered in DevCo, you should click on the New User Register Here link and follow the steps for registering. You can check out the how-to video on registering, or you can use the user guide with the first section of it. You will then be on the programs page. You might see a slightly different set of links available. If you have access to properties in DevCo, you'll have the tenant income certification and owner certification link at the top of your page. Click on that link. You're now on your property listings. You should have all of your properties that you were approved access for in DevCo. As you can see, you have the 2014 and 2015 years showing up automatically. The current and previous year will always display automatically, and a new year will automatically populate after January 1st of that year. So in this case, once it's January 1st of 2016, you should see 2016 also. OFA is only requiring composition updates to be entered in DevCo that happened during or after 2014, since that is when we began to use DevCo for reporting. So you need to click on the correct certification year for your composition update. We're going to go into 2015. This will bring you to the property details page for your property. This gives you a brief summary of the property's information, owner, management, that sort of thing. On the left-hand side, you should see your property name with links on navigating through DevCo above that. And then below that, you'll have your buildings or your bin numbers. So we're going to click on the plus sign next to the bin, and then you'll have all of your units listed. To add an event, you click the plus sign next to the unit, and you should have an add new event link. If you have other events already listed on that unit for that reporting year, you should see them listed below the add new event. So we're going to click on the link. And now we need to enter our event date. And we're selecting composition update for the event type. Once that's selected, it opens up the other fields on the event to be edited. This is the screen, the event details is the screen that you're going to be adding all your information onto. Later on, I'll show how you can get to the tick to print that. So you would want to double check and make sure that you have all the information that should be there. If you're missing something or it should have been entered on a previous event, you'll need to go back and enter that information before finishing this new event. So for our example here of the Curies, they are expecting a child, so we're going to click Add New Member. If you had to delete a household member, you would select the Delete button next to the household member. We're going to mark the name as Unborn Child, since that's unknown at this point. Nine zeros can be added for the Social Security number, since that is also unknown. At any point, if you do not have the Social Security number, you can always add 9 zeros. For the birth date, we're going to enter 1/1 of 1900. This is so you can easily tell later that you need to update the birth date. Currently, DevCo does not allow for future dates to be listed for the birth date. And entering it as 1900, the date field will also appear blank on the tick. You can update the birth date in DevCo once the child is born on this composition update event or on another later event. So we'll make sure that the child's marked as non-student, and we'll select unborn child for the relationship. You could update the race now, and the parents have not decided to know if the gender, so we have NA for the gender. That can also be updated later once the child is born. And since this is a child that's being added, we don't have any additional income to add. If it was an adult tenant, you would also need to add their income at this point by clicking on the Add Non-Asset Income and adding asset income. We also need to make sure that we're listing the income for the current residents so that the tick can be printed with all of the accurate information on it of the incomes for the household members. So you can either look back at the previous tick that was completed with the incomes on it, or you can use the fields in DevCo. So we're adding the employment income for Perry and also some gift income for Marie. And they also had a checking account from their original move-in tick, the 2007 information. And double check to make sure you have everything needed everything entered that was needed, and click update. And as you can see here, we have the warning that the household members does not match the count. And I forgot to update the household member count at the top of the page to 5. So we'll click update again. And it is warning that we don't have a utility allowance listed. If you have utility allowances at your property, you should make sure that those are entered before you work on any events. So now we are ready to print the tick. So I clicked on the View Tick button. And here you can see the pages of the tenant income certification. We have our 5 household members now with the unborn child. And also you can see the income amounts for Perry and Marie. If you did not enter those on the event details page, you're going to have missing information on the certification. And again, you need to remember that the total household income must be updated as well to reflect the new household income, which that is the previous incomes for the tenants already in the unit, plus the current income of any new tenants. And we will click on the Export button and select PDF. You will probably get a warning message to open it. Clicking the PDF makes sure that it's all formatted correctly and that everything fits onto the 2 pages of the certification as it should. This concludes our video on composition updates. If you have any questions or concerns, please submit a question to the DevCo Help Desk, and thank you for watching.